Okay. Oh, I just forgot one thing. I will be right back. I forgot some water. Okay. Very professional. Okay, there we go. Hydration is important. Okay. Is the levels okay? Is the music too loud compared to me? Is it good? Let's see. Screen shaking, screen flashes, vibration off. Yes. Enabled to speed through unread text. I can turn it back on if I need it. That's fine. I assume this is... Well, we'll go with the arranged one. Updated? Pixel. I'll stick with the updated, it's fine. It'll be easier for people to see. According to the streamer's own testimony, they claimed that this was possibility just 1 week ago. That means it was entirely foreseeable. Yeah, I can turn it on later if need be. They let you go in here whenever you want, so... They have a reader mode. Interesting. Well, we want to actually try to, like, do the puzzles and stuff, so we're not going to turn on reader mode. Okay, title selection. Prosecutor's Gambit. Okay, but we need to do investigations first. Can't DM streams anyway, she hates us. Bubbles. I know, I'm a monster. Interesting, they let you episode select from the beginning? That's fun. Okay, anyway. We're gonna start from the beginning. We need to see the birth of Ninja Maya before skipping ahead. Is she even in the first case? I think she shows up in the second case, doesn't she? So we might not see her today, but everything old is new. Episode 1, Turnabout Visitor. March 14th, 1:16 a.m. Question mark? To make sure the defendant is found guilty, what other choice do I have? That's the job of a prosecutor, after all. That may be true, but why? Why go this far? Oh, this isn't who I thought it was. Sorry, maybe it wasn't clear enough, but a guilty verdict is all that matters to me. No matter what the cost. Shock. Who is this man? And why is he in Edgewater's office? I'm a prodigy among prosecutors. Always have been, always will be. March 14th, 2:05 a.m. Prosecutor's Building, 12th floor hallway. It's Miles! It's hard to believe that I've been away from my office for a whole month. I hope Detective Gumshoe has been keeping an eye on my office. And keeping it clean. Well, I don't know about that, Edgeworth. The door is unlocked. Detective Gumshoe. What's the smell. It's very familiar. Blood. This is fine. Ah! What the? There's a dead person! What is the meaning of this? Freeze. Identify yourself. Shut up. You've got some nerve committing murder in the prosecutor's office. Is that a threat? Let me make one thing very clear. What? No one gets away with committing murder in my office. No one. Why does he just leave? He shows up in the office. He threatens him with a gun. Edward's like, bitch, what are you doing in my office? You can't get away with murder. And then he just leaves. And believe me, like 4 people have already tried to commit murder here. Yeah. Edward succeeded at intimidation. He really did. That was a nat 20 if I've ever seen one. Well, okay. My name is Miles Edgeworth, and I work as a prosecutor at my local district. Little did I know that upon my return home after a month abroad, I would be thrusted into a multitude of cases, and some very frantic and busy days. Sweet. I've finished photographing the victim's body, sir. Very well. Please continue your investigation. Yes, sir. The new sprites are kind of fun. God, how do I do Gumshoe again? I don't even know. Can I do a radio voice like most people do? Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Are you okay, sir? Keep it down, detective. This is a crime scene. When I heard that there was a murder taking place in your office, I ran up here straight away. This is Dick Gumshoe. He's a detective with the local precinct, and the one they assigned to handle this murder case for the time being. You're looking a little pale there, sir. Are you hurt? No, I'm perfectly fine, however. Look at what they did to your office! It's totally trashed! I'll say, the culprit sullied my floor with dirt rather well. No one gets away with tracking mud into my office. And the murder too, by the way. Well, sounds like you're getting real burned up over this whole thing. The crime was committed in my office, so it is my responsibility to solve it. Also, in mine and everyone's defense, it's because Gumshoe says pal. Yeah, I know. Ho ho! That's just like you, Mr. Gumshoe. Okay, time to do some investigating. Agreed. Our first course of action is to gather the relevant facts and leads. We must not overlook anything, no matter how small, if we are to find the truth. So I'll keep my leads or information we find etched in the forefront of my mind. Speaking of things that pique my curiosity, why, of all places, did the murder occur in my office? Crime scene, my office! Is it really a coincidence that the murder place took place in my office? We're jumping right into it, folks.
I get the nagging feeling that this is something important to keep in mind.
Yeah, I was wondering that myself, sir. I mean, you can't really say it's just a coincidence, can you?
No, not really, especially because of this.
The key to your office? For security reasons, this office door has a lock built into it. Edgeworth with the fancy new technique thinking about stuff. No kidding. Phoenix Wright has spirit mediums to summon his dead mentors, or Megatamas to help him find lies that they are hiding. Apollo has a fancy bracelet that lets him know when people are lying. Athena has a fancy gadget that lets her see into the minds of the psyche of the people and see what they're feeling. Miles Edgeworth uses logic. That key has no teeth. It would be super easy to pick the lock. Probably. What do you mean, sir?
If you think about it carefully and use logic, it should become clear to you.
Logic? Gumshoe's never heard of it.
By finding the connection between two pieces of information and connecting them, new information is born. That is the end result of using logic.
So how do you use it?
First, I recall the information we've gathered with the L, and then I connect them together with the X. Now to use the L to recall the facts.
Connect them!
Oh, it's a new puzzle piece.
Doing things my way.
For security reasons, all the prosecutor's doors are outfitted with locks.
You take an L, you post on X. It makes sense to me.
Which means that it would have been hard for the murderer and the victim to get in here. Ergo, it's impossible to dismiss the location of this crime as a mere coincidence.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking, sir.
There must be a reason why someone infiltrated my room. What was the killer after?
Dun dun dun. You're really on the ball today, Mr. Edgeworth. That's some beautiful logic, sir.
Yes, well, when you follow leads to their conclusion, only the truth remains. However, if the information doesn't line up properly, I may stray far from the truth as well. I might get what you call a penalty. But if I think carefully before piecing leads together, the logic should flow. Well, let's get started with our investigation, shall we?
Yes, sir! Begin investigation! The basis of any good investigation is to examine everything, sir!
I know that. And when I want to examine something, I simply use the A button when I'm next to it.
Oh, and if you ever feel lost and want to talk, just use the X, okay? I'll give you a great piece of advice as an ace investigator, sir.
Something to try later if I have free time, I suppose.
Okay, well, I see a gun. That seems pretty obvious.
What have we here? Could this perhaps be the murder weapon? If so, it would mean the killer made their escape after disposing of their gun here.
I think I've seen one of these before.
Yes, Gumshoe, I think you've seen a gun before.
Don't pull it right, Miles.
Care to enlighten me as to where?
Oh, I know. I was issued the exact same model. I think.
Detective.
I don't really like guns all that much. I mean, they're real dangerous. But now that I think about it, you do see this model around the precinct a lot, sir. I don't use mine much except in emergencies, so that's why I didn't recognize it.
So it's the same type of revolver as the ones used by the precinct detectives.
But has he really? Gumshoe is getting very exposed right now. But he's just a sweet dude, you know? Like, he would never pull his gun on anyone. Okay. Look, it's my couch. It matches my my clothing. Hope I can solve this case quickly. I'd like to return to relaxing on the sofa.
That thing looks like a billion times softer than my mattress at home.
Can I sit on it too?
Just a little while, sir.
Detective Gumshoe, you know I can't allow that.
Until this case is solved, neither of us has time to spare, let alone rest. You're right, sir. I'm gonna work hard and be a real trooper to the end.
Even once this case is over, I don't think he can afford to take any time off. Alright, well, there's my picture here. Oh, wait, that's the same thing. I was trying to look at the picture! Hey, dude. How is it coming along?
Please, I need absolute silence. Fingerprint lifting is a delicate art.
Well, I never. Gee, look, there might be a safe behind this picture. Is this yet another batch of fresh flowers?
The ones that keep coming with a card attached every month like clockwork for you. Yep. Speaking of that, let's see what's on the card this month, sir. All will be resolved, Wendy.
Oh, Miss Irony, how painful are thy thorns.
Wendy, isn't that the name of the old lady with the whining voice that stopped?
That's enough, detective. You need not remind me further. Shut up. Oh, old bag. Be fun to see these games reference stuff I barely remember from games 2 and 3. These take place between PW and AG. I was gonna ask. I was trying to think of when these happened. That makes sense. Well, it's a good thing my steel samurai doll was spared any harm. Speaking of which, I still haven't sat down and watched any of that show.
What's it about again?
Well, I don't know much about it myself, but the hero of the Steel Samurai, warrior of Neo Tokyo, is the Steel Samurai. Gee, I would never have guessed that. And his goal is to defeat the evil magistrate. It's a show geared towards kids. However, its high production values and riveting plot draws in a number of adults as well. Spin-offs like the Pink Princess, Warrior of Little Old Tokyo, and the Nickel Samurai, which are things you have not seen yet on Chris's stream, but will come up. Along with a deluge of merchandise and even a new stage show, gives it presence.
You sure know a lot. You sure you're not some sort of rabid fanboy?
Of course not! Anyone that keeps up with society knows at least this much. And that conversation lasted longer than I expected. Let us return to the investigation. Rare Gumshoe exposing Edgeworth.
Oh, it's your trophy. The, Knight of Prosecutors, right?
King of Prosecutors. And it's not a trophy, it's a shield.
They only send this to the winning prosecutor, right?
Yes. But I have no real interest in the perceived worth of other people. As for my own worth, that is something only I can determine for myself.
That's so slick, sir. I'm gonna have to try saying that sometime.
Fortunately for him, his monetary worth is tied directly to his worth to me. Edgeworth, don't be so cruel. This is fine. What's going on with my tea set? They fucked it up!
Hey, watch out for them tea fragments there, sir.
That killer's going to pay. This tea set.
Yikes, you're really mad over this.
The tea set is very dear to my heart and can only be bought in England. I mean, I could probably hook you up there, Edgeworth. This is part of my job. It cost me more than your whole month's paycheck.
What? What? Now I feel like the killer's wasted one of my monthly paychecks.
I arrived to tea crime. Yes, hey, Captain.
Your files all over the floor, sir. They probably fell during the struggle between the victim and his killer.
Logic!
Oh, and I tried so hard to keep this place spotless while you were away. I mean, I just rendered all the time and effort I put in pointless. I don't recall ever asking you to clean my room. Well, I watered the flowers every day just like you requested, sir. I just added cleaning to the list as a weekend special. For about half a day every Saturday, I'd come in and clean this place until it sparkled. Does he have a life?
Okay, but what about the handprints here? Finish photographing the body, so I should be alright to examine this area.
I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny.
Well, there is this wallet.
What do we have here?
Hey, I think I've seen one of these before. Gumshoe. Gumshoe. Come on, man. I know you don't have a lot of money, but I think you should just know what a wallet is. Has Gumshoe gotten dumber? Edgeworth does like to spend his money, but unlike Phoenix, he does make it, so yeah, it's true. Like, Edgeworth does well for himself. I mean, he's like the head of the... Is he like the head of the prosecutors at this point? Or is he not quite there yet? I don't recall if that happens during the Apollo Justice trilogy or if it's before. I don't remember at all. Fair enough. Hey, I think I've seen one of these before.
It's a police badge, detective.
Oh, it's even worse. It's even worse.
Oh, hey, I have an exact same thing, actually. What a coinkydink.
Let's take a look inside.
Mr. Buddy Faith. It would appear that our victim was a detective, just like you. I seem to have gathered a few pieces of pertinent information. Now to commonly use logic to figure out any of them are connected to each other.
Okay, I can do that, but there are other things to look at. No, I don't need to click this again. Oh my god.
Let's see here. There's blood all over the lower abdominal area. It looks as though a bullet passed.
It looks as though a bullet passed clean through his stomach area, sir.
In other words, he was shot.
Yep. And until the autopsy's done, I don't think we'll know much more than that.
Please have the body sent to the morgue once they're done processing the crime scene.
Bullet went clean through the victim's abdomen. The body was found at around 2:05. So Gumshoe doesn't recognize any of the other detectives he presumably works with. Considering I think Gumshoe just hangs out around Miles all day, that tracks to me. As silly as that is. Because in this world, detectives are at the beck and call of prosecutors. And I'm pretty sure it's not how it should work, but you know. Are you gonna be all okay with keeping the track of the evidence we find, sir?
Of course. This is the safest way I know how to keep track of it all.
Alright, if you say so.
I keep all evidence I find either in or with my organizer. When I want to re-examine a piece, I have to but press the R button to open my organizer. But the organizer isn't only for evidence. I keep people's profiles on hand in it too. It's probably a good idea to make a habit of checking the facts often.
Thank you for educating me. Okay, well, look at these bloody things over here.
don't believe it. I'll pack those files on those shelves so tight. That's not even an earthquake could make them fall off. But just look at them. At this rate, the rest of the files won't be able to withstand an earthquake at all. Problem to be sure. Well, once the investigation's over, we'll pull them back up on the shelf. Okay, but there's... Oh my god, guys. Look, there is words on the books. Okay, whatever, it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay, well, let's make some logic. Files are a mess pointing to a struggle between the killer and the victim. The victim was a detective. Now, being fair, I wouldn't recognize half my coworkers if they were shot dead in an office. Sometimes work means that being in the field and rarely at home base. Also, I'm face blind, but that's another issue entirely. I mean, maybe Gumshoe has that issue too, you know? Why did it happen in my office? What were they after? Well, there's a revolver, and the victim was a detective, so let's connect these two. The revolver, a standard model used by detectives. Could it have belonged to our recently departed? Detective Gumshoe, could you please thoroughly check the victim's body one more time? Yes, sir, on it, sir. Excuse me, pal. Let's see. What have we got here? Mr. Edgeworth, sir! This guy's wearing a gun holster! So it appears that our killer somehow managed to take the victim's gun from him. Let's see what else we can find out about this revolver. As I always say, you gotta look real carefully at each piece of evidence. You can use the R, rotate it, blah blah blah. Use the L to zoom in. There's like a pony on it. Anyway. It looks like only one round was fired from this. Well, so the killer killed the Vic with just one shot? After wrestling the gun from him? Sounds like the guy knew how to handle a gun, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? We have no proof for now, but that is the distinct possibility. I got Emma Tech. I guess that's about all we're going to find out. We should send the body to our top. Jim! Why? Oh, why? How could this have happened to a guy like you? Are you all right? Don't touch me! Leave me alone! Just let me be. Sorry, I can't do that. The investigation is still ongoing, so please refrain from touching the body. The body? The body? Don't talk about him like he's just some lump of flesh. Look at him. Jim looks like he's just turned it in for the night. Sure, it's just bloodstained suit, pal. Where are my manners? Aren't you that prosecutor? Why, yes, I am. I'm Jacques Portsman, prosecutor. Jim here was my partner in crime, bustin'. Crime bustin'. I'm Miles Edgeworth, and like you, I'm also a prosecutor. He's dead, Jim. It's like, number one, he's calling him Jim, which his name is Buddy Faith, so... Detective Gumshoe, sir. So, you're Miles Edgeworth? I guess this is your office. Yes, that is correct. Then it was you! You're the one who killed Jim! Hey, don't go around jumping to conclusions, pal. Just calm down, okay? I will not! I know how things work around here!
Hi, prosecutor's office doors all have locks built into them. And only the owner of the office has the key to his or her own office.
That is correct. However, I was not the one who killed your partner.
Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth's been overseas on business trip this whole time, pal. And the key to the door was with me the entire time, okay? So the only one who could have got in here was me. Oh, ho, ho.
Oh, Gumshoe.
Wait, that means... I'm not sure what it means. So it was you! You're Jim's killer! No way, pal, you got it all wrong!
Everyone calm down. Mr. Portsmouth. Correct? If you are a real prosecutor, you should know to stay collected. The investigation has only begun. Isn't it too early to be drawing conclusions?
Alright, I get it, the point. You're right, my mistake. I tend to get a little too hot-headed sometimes. You sure are a cool customer, though, Mr. Edgeworth. I've heard all the rumors about you. You're the great genius prosecutor. You're something of a legend, you know. Anyway, let's call a truce and work together, okay? Now, how about a handshake to seal the deal?
A pleasure to work with you.
You guys are conducting an investigation, right? Sorry for barging in like that. Carry on, then. It's your room, after all.
Thank you. I intend to.
I just want a little more time to say goodbye to Jim. You there. Sir. I want you to capture this scene on film for me. My final farewell to my partner, Jim.
Does this make Gumshoe also a Maya?
I mean, if he's being accused of murder, maybe it does. You know, it does feel like it should have happened during the Phoenix Wright games that Gumshoe got accused of murder at some point. Maybe that's... Oh no. We've never played the second Ace Investigations team. Maybe Edgeworth, or maybe Gumshoe doesn't do so hot in that game, and that's why he's not in any of the trilogy after.
I should probably give them some space.
Oh no. Okay, well, let's go over here now that we can. Your jacket, sir! What's it doing on the floor?
It must have fallen off the wall when the killer tried to threaten me by firing a round.
So the killer not only shot the victim, but they shot your jacket as well?
But there was only one bullet used in that gun.
They dare to shoot an ultra special jacket that you made you a prosecutor debut in? What if they'd shot through it? It would have been a disaster.
It's not worth getting worked up over, Detective. Not when there's something more here. Huh? Like what?
Like what?
I take it you haven't noticed it yet, Detective. There is a giant contradiction right here in front of us.
Really?
Did I say contradiction? He must be rubbing off on me. I'm starting to sound like him. Oh my. But I have my own methods, and I will conduct this investigation my way. When the scene before me contradicts a piece of evidence or seems off, that's when my deductive skills come into play. First, I have to find a spot that holds the contradiction. This is it, the bullet hole where the contradiction lies. When I spot something that's off, I should point my cursor at it and press with X with conviction. Deduce! And when I have found the sufficient proof of to prove the contradiction, I present it. This is how I do things.
really funny whenever people try to explain game mechanics in actual speech. Murder requires planning, and Gumshoe is incapable of thinking more than 2 seconds into the future. Most he could be culpable of is manslaughter. I mean, that's true. I think it'd be more likely that somehow Gumshoe gets used and gets accused of murder that he, like, contributed to but didn't actually try to commit. I don't know how that would all work, but you know. What is it? There was only 1 shot fired. Wait, how do I... Where's the present button? X. This... Eureka! That's a new word to add to the long list of objections and hold-its. Eureka! This bullet hole is a contradiction. What do you mean, sir? It's elementary. 2 shots were fired in this room. The first felled the victim, and the second felled this frame. Hey, that's right! However, this gun was only fired once. Hey, that's true too! Which means that the one of these 2 bullets was fired from a different gun. Did the killer have another gun prepared for tonight? Other than the victim's gun that I found, could there be another gun in play here? By the way, I noticed something, sir. Yes. What's that thing sticking out from behind the frame? Ah, that... It's a secret safe. A secret safe? Oh, I smell money! I'll spare us the trouble and just say it. Nothing like what you're imagining is inside. Now, if you could kindly move this frame out of the way. Roger that, sir. Not so secret anymore. Achoo, achoo, achoo. Talk about dusty. I suppose that's what happens when I'm not here to dust it once in a while. I had no idea there was a safe here, alright? I kept it clean for you, sir. So, when did you put this thing in? It wasn't something I'd installed personally. Every prosecutor's office has one. Really? I had no idea. Well, only prosecutors are supposed to have knowledge of their existence. So what's inside, Mr. Edgeworth? Right now, nothing. We only use them to store especially important evidence when the trial is in session. That's it. Talk about squashing my hopes and dreams. Each prosecutor has their own. Only they know them. Trial evidence use. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious nook and cranny. Well, there's this interesting whole to-do going on. I guess they just want me to do this. Okay. Now that's odd. You found something, sir? This keypad. Don't you find it to be a bit too clean? Yeah, there's a thick layer of dust around it, but not the keypad itself. You there, forensic scientist? Yes, sir. Could you please dust this area for fingerprints? You got it, sir. Couldn't find any. Let alone lift a single point. Looks like it was wiped down well. Do. As I thought. It appears that logic is the only way around this setback. Time to rationally and calmly connect the dots with the information we have. Logic! Well, considering my safe has been wiped, that means somebody used it. I believe I figured out what the murderer was after. Well, what was it, sir? The fact that the safe was wiped clean of fingerprints suggests that the criminal had at least attempted to open my safe, making the culprit's motives for breaking and entering theft, I believe. Well, only one way to do this with brute force 000001. I could see Gumshoe doing that.
Alright. I wonder if knowing that motive behind this break-in was theft changes what the other pieces of information can tell me about this crime.
So if it was theft... and there's signs of struggle... Connect!
There's a possibility that the files splayed on the floor are not the result of a struggle between the victim and his killer.
Oh, you mean like they could have been from when the killer tried to find something, sir?
Precisely. We need to figure out if any of the files have been stolen.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna shelve the files like you've never seen before, even in a library.
Sure. Let's give it a try.
Why do all the good ones always die young? Surely you must ponder that every once in a while, Mr. Edgeworth.
No matter how much we lament, the dead will not come back to life. All we can do is search for the truth.
And what are we supposed to do? How do we go about finding the truth?
First, we calmly restore the files to their rightful place.
You got it. Here, let me help. So this file goes here, and that goes there. You sure know a lot about where things go, despite being Mr. Edgeworth's office. 'Cause I'm the one who keeps it tidy, pal, okay? Done.
It would appear that the murder was definitely committed here.
Ugh, blood stains on the bookshelf are still fresh.
I suspect that the victim was killed in a standing position, hence the prints on the shelf.
And then the guy fell on the floor, right? The blood on the floor is kind of grossing me out.
Detective, I don't have time to deal with your weak stomach right now.
But you know I'm no good with blood, sir.
I'm certain there's something wrong with this picture.
Put them all back just as they should be, sir. Doesn't look like anything's missing.
Although it does look like the killer moved the body to flip through the shelves. I wonder if they found what they were looking for. Handprints. He must have tried to support himself with his hands after... himself with his hands here after being shot. There are prints on the floor, too. These must have been made when they were unable to stay standing. He dropped to the floor.
Alright. Come shoot. You were a bad profession to be bad with blood. Yeah, really, huh? Is this what they want me to do? It's clearly what the contradiction lies. I don't really see what's so wrong with that spot. Don't understand? You see, therein lies the contradiction. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, it'd be nice if you just admit it when you're wrong. That wasn't a mistake. It was me keeping you on your toes, detective. Oh, are they talking about this bullet here? Is that what they want me to point at? Yeah. Yeah, so if the bullet was there, that just seems incorrect. Yeah, it seems the killer's way. Anyway. Or not. Okay, but how do they want me to, like... Can I move the body? Wait, what are they trying to get me to do here? The prints were wiped. One shot was fired. Went through the abdomen. So is it the bullet hole with the thing that it went through the abdomen? Because then this wouldn't make any sense. I think that's what they're trying to get me to do. Eureka! What do you mean, sir? There we go.
You don't see? Quite simply, the bullet hole itself is too low. If the victim was shot in the stomach, the hole should be much higher.
I told you the complete opposite of what I wanted. I understood what you meant. It needed a different piece, but yeah.
But
what if the guy was shot while he was sitting on the line down, sir?
That would be illogical. The victim leaned against the shelf here after being shot, which suggests that he was standing when he was shot.
That means... Wait, what does that mean, sir?
It means you need to use your brain every once in a while instead of mine, detective. In any case, it means one made a faulty assumption. And it was from that mistake that our current contradiction was born. What is that faulty assumption that caused this problem with the bullet hole's position? The order of the files. I believe the order of the files is a bit off.
You mean I put them back in the wrong order, sir? Just now? Hey, actually, I think the labels on the files are wrong, sir.
Oh?
Yeah, you see here how the files that were shot begin with the number O? I think that was supposed to be the number 0, but I think that he would definitely say the number O, so I'm gonna keep that. What are they doing all the way down there after 1, 2, and 3? That's really weird. I want you to actually think a step ahead. Damn you, Phoenix Wright and Ace Attorney Games. Decide if you want me to show my work or not.
Actually, the way they are organized now is the correct order. They are exactly as I see them in my mind.
But the numbers are all out of order.
Those white binders are special, so they are arranged a little differently. But from this, we know that the files were not in this order when the crime occurred. Ha, so that is it. I believe the killer made the same incorrect assumption that you just did, Detective. Let's rearrange the files in numerical order and see what we find out.
It's never consistent.
Do you think it'd be okay to prop the body back up how it was before it was moved? They finished processing the crime scene, so I don't see why it wouldn't be. If you please, Detective Gumshoe. As I suspected, the bullet hole is now where it should logically be. The killer went through my files before shooting my Mr. Faith, and then put the files back in numerical order, I guess.
Oh, that was Gumshoe.
Exactly. And then proceeded to shoot the victim.
Well, why would someone kill a man and then look through your files one more time?
Puzzling indeed. The files were thrown into disarray twice. Once before, and once after the crime. But why?
Just ignore the words over there. It's fine.
Now, the crime scene is as it was at the time of the murder. Time to give it another look.
Alright, well, let's look at the obvious thing.
This...
What is it?
Why does it say Gumshoe on there in blood?
I'd say that's some incredibly incriminating evidence.
Yes, indicative of criminal activity indeed.
No, wait, there's gotta be some mistake. Mr. Edgeworth, sir, help me! Say something, sir!
It appears that one of my files was stolen.
Is that all, sir? What about me and my situation?
Is this what the killer was really after?
One of the files is written upon and blood was stolen by the culprit. Investigation complete. Hey, I got HP back. Looks like Jim was able to leave us the name of his killer in the end. And this most important message managed to reach us. I'm telling you, it wasn't me. You can't be terribly pleased to hear that your beloved partner is guilty, party.
If you're going to accuse Detective Gumshoe of being the culprit, I sincerely hope you have some proof to back it up.
Jim's words. They're more than enough, wouldn't you say?
If that is how you want to play it, then at least allow me to understand your reasoning.
You got it.
I want you to notice things you did immediately. I don't like this one bit. There's something strange about this man's attitude. And there must be some sort of flaw to his logic waiting for me to dig out. A contradiction, if you will. But I'm gonna go with flaw because I don't want to be like Phoenix Wright.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you gonna do?
What I always do in court. I'm going to cross-examine him.
Well, actually, Phoenix does all the cross-examining, but...
One way or another, I'll expose the flaw in his logic with this technique.
Oh, how do you do that? Can you explain it to me, sir? Maybe some other time.
Mr. Portsmouth, if you are ready.
Oh, if you don't have time, you could just say so, sir. Now, there is that moment in Game 3, I suppose. Argument! Detective Gumshoe, you stole Jim from him and shot him dead. You stole his gun and shot him dead. Furthermore, you messed up the files to make it look like you had committed the theft instead. That's when you moved Jim's body that was sitting in front of the bookshelf. But thanks to that, you didn't notice the bloody letters of his body was hiding. And it will be by his final words that you will be brought to justice.
You intend to argue that the victim's dying message points to his killer?
I can hear Jim's voice and he's calling for his killer's arrest.
Are you sure you're not mishearing his words, Mr. Portsmouth?
Portsman. I think I keep saying his name wrong. It's Portsman.
There is no way Detective Gumshoe is the culprit here. I will find the flaw in this man's logic and expose it with credible evidence.
Mr. Portsman's logic. You stole the gun from him and shot him dead.
Hold it!
You know, there's something I've been meaning to ask.
What's it?
Why do you call the victim Jim, when clearly his name is Buddy Faith?
Isn't it obvious? Jim's the perfect name for my companion. Jacques and Jim. Don't these two names go together like peanut butter and jelly? But Jim isn't even close to the guy's real name. The Jacques and Buddy just sounds off somehow. Besides, he was the third of the bunch of guys I decided to nickname Jim.
He talks of the victim like he was his pet.
Rest of the files make it look like you had committed the theft instead.
Hold it!
Do you really think it was necessary to dishevel my shelves twice to do that?
That's true. Okay, maybe his real intent was theft. Hey, you accusing me of stealing something from Mr. Edgeworth? That would be messed up even if we didn't know he was also the killer. I know, right? It's a possibility. Maybe your salary's been cut so much in life that life's getting a little too rough to handle. I'll have you know I have 3 square meals every day, pal. Okay, so all 3 of them happen to be instant noodles, but Poor thing. What evil prosecutor were you paired with, and what motive, no? So we moved Jim's body, but sitting in front of the bookshelf.
Hold it!
And why would Detective Gumshoe do such a thing? Because the body's getting in the way. You had to mess up your bookshelf somehow, right? Anyway. You didn't notice the bloody letters.
Hold it!
Instant noodles are not a square meal, Gumshoe. This is true. As much as we would wish it to be. Why do you think the killer didn't notice the bloody letters? Thought he was covering it quite well. Wouldn't you say? That's how he missed it. But judging by what I've seen, it doesn't take much for your detective to miss something. Okay. Now, hey, you can't say mean things about Gumshoe, even if they're true. Who do you think you are? You know nothing about me, pal. There's a lot a person can understand about another from a first impression alone. Can't say I disagree with him on that point. Edgeworth, no. Why don't you say something, sir? Not you too, Mr. Edgeworth. Despite his lack of attention to detail, I don't believe the detective to be the culprit. Nobody could overlook the bloody letters, and I could prove it with evidence. I couldn't ask for a better setup. For the game finishing spike. And by his final words, he'll be brought to justice. Right, those bowl noodles are round.
Objection!
Yeah, I mean, there's one missing, so. like, it's such a, obvious thing, but, you know. Perhaps you're not aware, Mr. Portsman, but there is a serious flaw in your logic. Hey, bringing up the courtroom into it, I see. No problem, I'm game. I can't help but find it odd. Excuse me. Odd that a fellow prosecutor would be brought down by the power of his own office. What are you talking about? Oh, you're joking, I get it. If you have time to laugh, then you have time to take another closer look at this. Do you not see? If not, may I direct your attention to the missing file? What? That's impossible! What's impossible, Mr. Portsman? Nothing. The files on that shelf are all about a certain case. When the killer went to take the file after murdering your partner, I highly doubt they could have missed the bloody letters on the spines.
Objection!
It's possible they could have taken the file before committing the murder. I think it's pretty obvious that the file was stolen after it was written on. The missing letters in the detective's name where the file should be is proof. Yeah, I mean, the S is gone and there's only half of an H. If the detective really was the culprit of this case, I highly doubt that even he could overlook his own name written in blood on the file. Especially as a detective who can't stand the sight of blood. Take that! Gumshoes can't look at blood! Which means what exactly? What does it make this dying... What does that make this dying message? It makes it a work of criminal intent on tampering with the crime scene. That's so low! I can't believe the criminal tried to pin this whole thing on me, sir! I'm gonna get him, sir! You'll see! I'm gonna have him under arrest in no time! Well, Mr. Portsman? Brilliant! Absolutely splendid! Logic deserving of an Olympic gold! I appreciate the praise. But it doesn't change the fact that your reasoning is flawed. You win some, you lose some. That's how life goes. I'm glad everyone's so cheery, even though I feel more dead than alive. But you know, it really is a shame. I really didn't want to have to bring this up, however. What is it this time? Are you still after me, pal? Humor me for a second. Who has the key to this office? That would be me. But Mr. Edward just proved that I'm innocent, pal. That's absolutely right. I acknowledge your innocence.
Then why do I sense that you still have something to say?
Well, I was thinking, did you know that there's one other person with a key to this office?
One other person.
Hey, you there! Yes, sir. What is it, sir? Would you kindly fetch and escort the lovely lady here for me?
A lady?
Girl's a member of this building's security. Think of her as a material witness.
Oh, I forgot she was in this case.
Security? Did you say security? No, stop, pal, don't!
Well, it looks like we're gonna be defending her again. What's wrong with him all of a sudden? Hey, Maggie.
I believe she needs no introduction. I've called upon Miss Maggie Bird, a member of the security.
Well, Gumshoe is debatably a Maya. Maggie's definitely one.
No! The accursed shirt! Begone, heathen!
Detective Gumshoe, sir.
Maggie! Miss Bird's the security guard on watch tonight.
I see, and your point is?
My point is that she could very well have used it. And by it, I mean the master key, which can open all the office doors in this building. What? If you're not the guilty party, Detective Gumshoe, then the only other person with access to this room is Miss Bird.
How dare you! I would never sneak into someone's room.
That's right, I refuse to believe Maggie's the culprit, pal. It was me. That's right, I did it.
Can we take that as a confession, Detective?
Well, it wasn't really me, but definitely wasn't Maggie, pal. So yeah, it was me. If it was, you'd have no problems with that, right?
Please refrain from flying off the handle, Detective. There is no need for such theatrics. Oh, Gumshoe, he just wants to protect his not girlfriend.
Listen to your boss, Detective. He understands what I'm saying here. That girl is the only one who could have committed the crime, and for one simple reason. Reason for suspicion. It's pretty obvious Miss Bird snuck into your room using the master key. I mean, if Detective Gumshoe isn't the one who opened the door, then that leaves Miss Bird as our prime suspect. On top of which, she knows our good detective, doesn't she? Making it all the more probable that she was the one who faked the dying message.
Gumshoe will ask Maggie out once he's financially stable, thus he'll die first. So you're saying that she used the master key?
Incredibly incriminating evidence, wouldn't you say?
That's what you claimed about the evidence earlier as well.
That was then, this is now. The flow of a good match always changes during a rally. It's all about your reflexes and reaction time, especially for an athlete like me.
I wonder if there's anyone else other than Miss Bird who could have used the master key. It seems that the only way to get Mr. Portsman to give me more details is to press him.
Hold it!
Hold it.
Are you sure Miss Bird is the only member of security who could have used the master key? There's only one person on staff at this time of night, and tonight she's it. Isn't that right, Miss Bird? That's, true, but I wasn't able to use the master key at the time of the crime, sir. Wasn't able to? What's that supposed to mean? Yes, moving on. I'd hate to get sidetracked by something unrelated. What do you mean unrelated? I want to hear what she has to say, pal. But you can't really trust her not to lie. Plus, I'd hate wasting time. Should I hear Miss Bird out? Of course. Not so fast. I, too, am interested in hearing what Miss Bird has to say. Didn't I just say it'd be a waste of time? We don't need to hear her lies. I'll be the judge of that. Miss Bird, if you please. I discovered that the master key was missing at around 1 a.m., sir. What do you mean by missing? As in, it wasn't anywhere in the security booth, sir. The killer must have stolen it. Mr. Portsman, I believe this to be an important piece of testimony, don't you? I can't believe someone like you would be taken in by such words. I'm not lying, sir.
Objection!
If that's the case, then I'd like to know why you have the master key now. I don't quite know. It just reappeared all of a sudden, sir. A likely story. Where's your proof that the key was stolen to begin with? I bet you just forgot where you put it and then found it again. I never lose things. I can practically guarantee that. With me, if something disappears, it's usually because someone stole it. Yeah, pal, trust me, you don't want to test how bad her luck is. Unfortunately, I can't deem this piece of testimony as conclusive. Glad you agree, Mr. Edgeworth. But, you still haven't established Maggie's motive for breaking into Mr. Edgeworth's office. A motive? Didn't we already establish it was theft? I mean, the culprit clearly went through the bookshelves and at least tried the safe. It is as Mr. Portsman says, Detective. I can't ignore the fact that all the evidence points towards a motive of theft. But I'm done taking blows. It's time to counterattack with a few facts of my own. Her intent from the messed up shelves to the wipe down the safe, I'd say thievery. How did you know it was wiped down, sir?
Objection!
Do you wish to continue insisting that Miss Bird was set on stealing something? Why not? It's the truth, after all. It was also by your logic that we came to the whole thievery conclusion anyway. That may be. But you must also be aware of the fact that the safe is a secret safe, the existence of which is only privy to prosecutors. I find it a little hard to believe that the hidden safe was part of her cunning plan. But she could have found it by accident when she was turning everything upside down. I highly doubt that. I'd say the culprit knew exactly where they were looking for, or what they were looking for. After all, only the bookshelf and the safe were targeted. Yeah, even I didn't know about the safe, pal. And that means there's no way Maggie could have known about it either. Then, are you proposing that the killer is a prosecutor? Interesting conclusion. That's definitely looking more and more probable. What's wrong, prosecutor? Do you have a different suspect in mind now? Curses! Why? What made you... What's with the angry face all of a sudden? Come on, Gumshoe, catch up. You can do it. I believe in you. Take 2 seconds. Just think it through. It's all my fault. What do you mean? It's Jim. he knew about the existence of the secret saves. What did you just say? We were partners, like inseparable conjoined twins. That's why I told him I filled him in on the secret safes. Then that means... Yeah, I know. I had only told him to. Obviously, it was wrong of me to tell him. I still can't quite believe it, but the thief who broke into your room was probably Jim. Now he's claiming that the victim was the thief? Could have just framed Winston Payne, then nobody would care to defend him. Yeah. The only thing is that Winston Payne does not have anything of relevance at all in this room whatsoever. In his room whatsoever. Like, I bet his shelves are bare. How funny would it be if the next Ace Attorney game we are defending Winston Payne instead of being against him? And you were simply trying to stop him, weren't you, Miss Maggie Bird? Excuse me? I mean, you are a security guard, right? That's your job. But killing is going a bit too far, even if you're risky in your risky profession. What the? You're still accusing Maggie of murder? Yes, no. I mean, she had stumbled upon Jim, who had probably drawn his gun. I get it. It was self-defense, wasn't it? No, I couldn't. I could never do something like that, not even as a security guard, sir. Plus, even if it was the thief, if he was the thief, he wouldn't have had the key to this office. That's precisely why he'd steal it, wouldn't he, wouldn't you say? It was Jim who stole the master key. Pretty impossible for a supposedly stolen key to be here with us, unless you retrieved it from Jim after you killed him. Mr. Portsman, are you honestly accusing your own partner of being a thief? All the more reason to frame him. No one would admit to being around him. And you know what? Sharpens knife. Actually, I might put the knife down. I don't want to admit it, but it's the only way everything else makes sense. Has he no honor? Now then, I think we're done here. The investigation waits for no man. Would you people be so kind as to see yourselves out? Can't kick us out. This is Mr. Edgeworth's office. But I'm the one who's been assigned to this case. You were also suspects of varying degrees, therefore ineligible to run this show. Listen, pal, how many times do I have to say this? Maggie can't be the culprit. Detective Gumshoe, calm yourself. But, sir... We have no choice but to accommodate his request for now. Also, how did you get assigned this case? Like, there's no way he was... Like, why would Edgeworth even entertain the idea that he was assigned the case? It's 2 a.m.! Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. At least one of you understands. Now then, if you could remove yourselves from my crime scene, I'd be most grateful. Mark my words, Mr. Portsman. We will meet again. If that's a formal request from the legendary prosecutor himself, then I suppose so. Now, don't disappoint me, you hear? Have you seen how old the judge is? He's definitely already awake. Fair enough. March 14th, 4:18 a.m. Prosecutor building, 12th floor hallway. Oh, I see. Maggie's carrying her hat. It's an interesting guard uniform you got there, Maggie. What's the prosecutor? I can't believe how rude he was. It was unbelievable. Please maintain your professionalism, detective. I'm gonna find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir. We've been kicked out of the crime scene, sir. True. So what then? Looks like my life's fallen into yet another gigantic ditch. Do not despair, Miss Bird. We can overcome this as well. There are many other places and things we should be looking into anyway. Oh, really, sir? For example, this hallway. The linchpin of his argument against Miss Bird is related to the master key. In that case, this hallway is a perfect place to look for more information regarding the mystery surrounding my door. Begin investigation! Well, there's a basketball. What is a basketball doing here? That's Mr. Portsman's most prized position, sir. I heard he's also plays soccer, dodgeball, and even tennis. And not a single one of those sports is suitable to being played in a hallway. Hey, look who it is.
It looks like you're in quite a pinch, Mr. Edgeworth.
To be sure, a murder within the walls of the prosecutor's office is no trifling matter. Why are you here? You must find and apprehend and punish the killer accordingly post haste.
Sounds like a messy case you got on your hands. If you ever feel lost or need some advice, my door is always open.
How gracious. I will keep your offer in mind. Who is this guy again?
That's beautiful. Don't you have a tutorial case to lose? Winston lives here now. He has had more pay cuts than Gumshoe. Couldn't afford rent. That tracks.
Is everything all right?
Yes, sir. You must know I weighed myself this morning and I'm finally at 154 pounds.
Congratulations, but I was asking about this hallway in this room.
Oh, everything's okay, sir.
Word of advice, stay focused or you may start to lose even more weight.
What is this basketball hoop doing here? Hey, didn't this used to be just outside the next building a long time ago?
So when and why was it moved indoors?
I don't remember exactly, but I saw one of the officers dragging it up here recently. Drag? I heard it wouldn't fit in the elevator, so the poor guy had to bring it up himself.
All the way up to the 12th floor. This office. 1203. 1203. Hey, Maggie, whose room is this again?
Or whose room is this again? Let's Gumshoe.
It's Mr. Portsman's, sir.
So he's my new neighbor. I see. I suppose he moved in a while I was away overseas. I was wondering if I may speak to you for a bit concerning this case.
I've always been a big fan of the courtroom, but this is like a dream. A dream where I'm being cross-examined by the Miles Edgeworth.
I can't let this chance pass me by. I must remember to ask her about the master key. I should jog her memory by showing her my notes with X.
Oh yeah, is there anything on here? Not really.
So, when did you discover that the master key was missing?
By the time I realized it, I think it was around 1 a.m., sir. I noticed it was back at around 2:30 a.m. I was just sitting there on the ledge where the security room reception window is. But I'm sure that between those two times, it was not just gone, but stolen, sir.
Not to show her my badge because I'm not like Phoenix.
Why is such an important key stored in such an insecure place?
It's not not like that, sir. We always keep the key further inside the room, away from the window.
Always, you say, except for this time, correct?
Well, I admit that was a bit careless, but I had my reasons. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It was after I used it that I left it sitting out on the ledge.
She used the master key. But would we?
That's a prosecutor's badge, isn't it? It proves that you're a real prosecutor.
Interesting. Despite all appearances, she seems to know more than Gumshoe.
With that badge, even I could be a professional prosecutor. Sir, may I try that on? Just for a little bit?
I don't think that would be a very good idea, do you?
I guess not.
Second thought, they're actually on the same level. Have you ever met the victim before?
Well, I've seen him a couple times before when I had to go to Mr. Portsman's office. Mr. Faith was always playing basketball with Mr. Portsman after, sir.
That sounds like fun. Just once, I'd love to play with them.
Sounds like fun, but the only person to ever taken a shot was Mr. Portsman. All Mr. Faith ever did was pass him the ball, sir.
Second thought, I don't think I'd fit in all that well with them. Wow. He sucks. Okay, one hat, rude. Other hat, Edgeworth kinda ships it. Well, I think they could be a cute couple. I pray Gumshoe and Bird never have kids. No, believe in my headcanon. Yes, they must have a kid. Two negatives make a positive. Okay. But Chris, you do realize that as a baby, Maggie would definitely dress up her child as the Blue Badger. What's their weird name? I'd be upset if she didn't. And that would traumatize the child genius. He would have a mobile that plays the theme, and he would be just as traumatized by it as we are, and he would like run and hide from it if it ever came up in any given case. I think we called him Richard Gumshoe or something like that. When we were theorizing this theory. Wait, oh no. What do you mean by you use the master key?
Oh, I had to use it to open the door for this prosecutor who had forgotten his key. I mean, it's my job as a security guard, right? Ah!
What is it?
That's right! I just remembered the prosecutor who forgot his key! It was Mr. Portsman, sir!
How did you only mention that now? Oh no, we have the answer. They were sent back in time and to France. They were J.J. Falcon. Either traumatized by it or the kid bases its entire lifestyle on it. I think for our own sanity, I almost hope it's the former, as messed up as that is. What? Please tell me more, Miss Bird, quickly.
It was around 12 a.m. Mr. Portsman had forgotten his office key, so he came down to security, sir.
And that's when you loaned the master key to him.
No way! It's against regulation to loan the master key out to anyone. I walked with Mr. Portsman to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir.
She does look cute in her actual outfit for being a security guard, which I assume is just what she's wearing, but the blue badger shirt is like under it.
I see. And then what happened after that?
And then what happened after that?
Well, he called me to come close up his office as he was leaving to go home. That was around 1:30, I think.
Gee, I wonder if we should be taking note of the fact that the basketball net is to the right of the door and outside it's to the left of the door. I think whatever the case, I'm pretty sure wherever the basketball net is not where it should be or something.
So in summary, for the sake of the one forgetful prosecutor, you used the master key twice tonight.
Oh, it's on the correct side of the door, but regardless, I think that has something to do with it.
Talk about suspicious. I doubt you can say that you've never left your keys at home, Detective. I think this calls for a more thorough examination of Mr. Portsmouth's door. Miss Maggie Bird, correct? I take it that you are an acquaintance of the detective.
She was under my supervision back when she was on the force, sir. One day she got caught up in a murder, and things started going downhill, so she quit. Yeah, it was, the intro case of Game 2 that we watched a little while ago.
Well, I owe a lot to the Detective Gumshoe for introducing me to my current employer. Or so I thought until a few hours ago. Right before I was about to clock out for the night.
You got caught up in this whirlwind of a case, correct?
Spoilers!
Don't worry, my whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failures. Since I was 6 months old, when I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building. I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of foods, failed almost every single test I've ever taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster. And now I even managed to be named a criminal just when I've become a security guard.
That's a lot to go through in one lifetime.
I know, and just when I thought I'd finally found my happiness, I wound up getting you and Detective Gumshoe involved in my bad luck.
You don't need to worry about me, Miss Bird. No, you do need to worry about yourself, though. Nor do you need to worry about yourself. I will solve this case and prove that you're innocent. All I ask in return is for your cooperation.
Yes, sir, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. You can count on me. I'll do all I can to help.
Okay. I won't rest until they inspected every suspicious nook and cranny. 1202. These 4 numbers on the number plate alone proclaim this to be my office.
Whoops. Hey, these number plates slide right out, right, sir?
I have to be able to take the plate off when the room becomes vacant, you know. Although, the idea that it can be so easily removed is kind of
interesting.
4th century.
According to the guard, there's no signs of the lock were picked either, sir.
Meaning that the door was really opened with a key. Did you happen to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob?
Apparently the doorknob's clean as a whistle. Wiped it, they think.
Well, like this thief is, they did a good job of not leaving any clues behind.
Why do you need to remove the plate? The room's number is going to be the same. That's an excellent question. My assumption is there's supposed to be a name on it, but like, that's not really important for this.
I take it this is Mr. Portsmouth's office.
Yeah, you can't mistake it because of the basketball hoop, sir. That reminds me, Mr. Portsman actually wanted room 1202 really badly. But since you were already occupying it, Mr. Edgeworth, we put him next door, sir.
So why was Mr. Portsman so particular about getting into 1202?
I'm not sure, but I bet it's because of something like his birthday is December 2nd?
Yep, that's gotta be it. I can't think of another reason why. I can think of at least 3. Why am I even wasting time thinking about this? Mr. Portsman's personal basketball hoop. I can't believe he put something like this in the hallway of the prosecutor's office.
But you know, there's actually pretty useful, sir. Haven't gotten lost trying to get to your office since it's been here.
How long have I been at the same office and yet you still manage to get it lost? The door's locked tight.
I bet an old credit card trick wouldn't work here, huh, Mr. Edgeworth?
This is the office of a high prosecutor detective. These doors would be pretty ineffective if an average cat burglar could get through them.
So only a great cat burglar could get in. That must be who our culprit is.
Or perhaps a Yatagarasu? No. Might I advise you to return to the conclusion of whatever pawn shop you bought it from? Melissa's classy door made top quality wood.
It's kind of majestic too. Fits in real well with the ambience of the prosecutor's office. Even Mr. Portsman seems dignified just because he works behind one of these.
Nonsense. The man doesn't become more or less dignified because of where he works.
Well, he still seems more dignified than Mr. Payne.
Mr. Payne. I suppose custodial work can also be dignified.
Edgeworth. Just dishing out the burns. Damn. Ooh, look what we see here.
Still expected everything. Sus book is sus.
It's... isn't that the missing O series file, sir?
No doubt about it. The bloody letter mark it clear as day. There seems to be a few pages missing. Our thief took only what was necessary and left the rest behind.
So what are these files about, sir? I guess they've got something worth stealing in them, huh?
Not particularly. It's just a collection of court case files. However, the case within these files are not mine.
Huh?
They belong to the high prosecutor that used to occupy my current office. I have my reasons. Let's just say I was charged with keeping them as they were.
I'm guessing that's a high prosecutor related to this case and not Lana Sky? Or are they talking about Lana Sky?
I don't remember.
I mean, I guess we're gonna find out, right? That means the thief must have also wanted the file for a specific reason, right?
It would seem so. Only the pages related to the case from 10 years ago are missing.
I wonder why anyone would care for such an old case. Are we leaving it there? I don't think there's anything else about that. I mean, we're just looking at the door. It's going to say the same thing, right? I think she would praise a door. Poignant trait. Anyway, I see. So you're saying, sir, that me being me is the best thing I can do for anyone. Right. That applause wasn't exactly reassuring, sir. Alright, let's see here. Could the master key stuff be connected?
Miss Bird, I'm afraid there's a flaw in your story.
What? No way, pal. I mean, sir.
You said that you locked up Mr. Portsman's office at 1:30, correct? However, the master key has already been stolen at that time.
Wow, nothing gets by you, Mr. Edgeworth. You saw the contradiction like a pro.
I totally forgotten about that, but thanks to you, I remember it now.
You're right. It was around that very time that I realized the master key was missing.
And?
Well, I'm a security guard, sir. I couldn't just admit to losing the master key, could I? So I pretended to lock up his room, sir.
Oh. You pretended.
Yeah, I used my house key and made it look like I was locking up, sir.
So in actuality, you never did relock the door then?
Well, I thought that maybe I could go lock it after I found the key. Come to think of it, I guess the door still hasn't been locked properly.
Bum, bum, bum. Well, if that's the case... It's locked tight. This is sauce! Okay, for one thing, that was naughty, Maggie. On the other hand, how did Portsman fall for that? This is locked, which is weird because it says it shouldn't be locked.
Eureka!
There's a contradiction here. It's between reality and the evidence. If what Miss Bird has said is true, then why is this door locked tight? Huh? You know, you're right. Miss Bird, are you sure that you didn't relock this door?
I'm certain, sir. And I don't think Mr. Portsman's noticed himself that I hadn't.
Which means what, sir? It either means that he actually does have a key to his office, or that the door Miss Bird opened wasn't this one at all, but a completely different one. She opened a different door, but how could you prove that? There's an easy way to find out. All we need to do is... we need to examine these. Prints on the master key, prints on the doorknob, prints on the number plate. Prints on the number plates. It will tell us all we need to know.
Everything? Really? Like what, sir?
Like, well, for example, such as... Oops. Well, we know for sure Detective Gumshoe's dinner will only consist of instant noodles.
Wow, what amazing, sir. How did you know that? Was that supposed to be a joke to cheer me up, Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, that's it. Now then, we should get back to doing what we need to do, and that is, we need to examine these. The doorknob. The prints on the doorknob will tell us everything. Hey, you pal, do us a favor and see what you can lift from these, okay? Yeah, Miles Edgeworth doesn't make any mistakes, guys. It's fine. So what'd you find? There's no need for such belligerent nostril flaring, detective. Sir, I found that only Mr. Portsman's and Mr. Faith's prints are on this doorknob. So only two people's prints were found on this, huh? That's pretty decisive. Huh? I'm lost, sir. Thinking logically, a certain other person's prints should be on this knob as well. Now then, whose prints should be on this doorknob? It should be Maggie!
Take that!
Don't you find it odd that the prints of the person who unlocked the door are absent? You mean... Yes, the doorknob that Miss Bird opened could not have been this one, but a different one. What have we here? There's a note on the floor. I won't rest until I inspect every cranny. It's easier to hide fingerprints than that shouldn't be someplace. Much harder to fabricate fingerprints where they should be. Yeah. Oh, look. There's a little note. What is this?
Looks like a scrap of paper. I'll get it, sir. Let's see. Oh, there's something written on it.
Looks like a note from the victim. I brought 3 pieces of evidence by, just like we talked about on the phone. But it looks like you're out. Guess I'll catch up with you later. Buddy. Yeah.
It's for Mr. Portsman.
And look at this. What's this?
What are you looking at, sir? Oh, hey, how about a game?
That's okay, Detective. I just found the position of this hoop to be a little off.
Hey, you're right, sir. Guess it shifted when someone made a seriously sweet slam dunk.
The positioning of the hoop is definitely unnatural. I'd better take a note of it. It's been moved. Investigation complete. Poking around in this hallway has actually paid off quite handsomely.
Huh? How so, sir?
In a variety of different ways. I think it's time we had a little chat with the real culprit of this case.
You know who the killer is? Wow, Mr. Edgeworth.
As long as my logic is sound, then yes. The mastermind behind this murder is none other than Mr. Portsman.
What? Mr. Portsman?
Okay, but why are you shocked? It's like literally couldn't be anyone else.
I knew it! That's exactly what my logic senses were telling me too. I suspected it was him from the instant he accused Maggie of being a killer, sir.
That is anything but logical. Lady and gentlemen, prepare that yourselves.
I was gonna say thyselves, oh man.
Come what may, it's time to knock on Truth's door.
I don't know if you want to knock on Truth's door. That's how you get alchemy, but you usually gotta give up some things, and I don't know what you'd give up, Edgeworth. It is 5:12 a.m. Mr. Portsman, I finished processing the bloody letters, sir.
Alright, let me take a gander at it. Pass it here. Okay, looks good. You there. Take good care of this. Ah! Well, if it isn't Detective Gumshoe. End of the line for you, Portsman. We got you now. Call off your dog, Edgeworth. Is this some kind of joke?
It's no joke. We know, Mr. Jacques Portsman, that you are the guilty party in this case.
Must be pretty upset getting chased out of your own room. I'd be mad too. So I guess you can stay, if you promise to stay out of our way.
You intend to hide your crime under the guise of prosecutor doing his job. I can see right through the unsightly paper-thin mask you wear upon your cowl.
Edgeworth would probably lose his mouth or something to Truth. Like, Truth likes to gun for precious things, and could Phoenix or Miles live without yelling objection? It would be quite the crime, it's true. Will someone please get the corpse out of the room already? No, they like it as a decoration, I guess.
Who'd have ever thought it would come to this? Actually, come to think of it, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right? A legendary prosecutor who never lost a single case for 40 long years. But there's always this incessant chatter about forged evidence with that guy. Really teaches me that I gotta stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know.
Are you done trying to play mind games with me because they won't work? The only thing you should be using that mouth of yours for now is explaining yourself. Although, that too will only dig your hole deeper. Either way, your game is up.
Well, aren't we full of ourselves? Even though you have yet to prove anything.
If we lose their pointer finger, oh no. That would be a crime.
I have no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit.
I need a sip of water.
Besides, may I ask, do you propose to unlock your door and got in here? Look, I feel bad doing this to you, but I've got work to do, so we're done here.
Sorry, but we're not finished yet.
Boy, you're stubborn. I suppose you're basing your accusations on something?
I'll show you what I'm basing my accusations on, with evidence.
With evidence. Some mountain evidence points away from me.
How may I propose I unlocked your door and got in here?
Objection!
Is that? Oh, apparently that doesn't work. Okay. It's careless of me. I can't afford to do that. I mean, you opened the door with Maggie, but still. Oh my God. Silly bots. You know, it would help if I actually knew how to do anything in chat. The answer is I don't. Thanks, Chris. Okay. Well, let's press it first. Maybe it will give me more context here. Unfortunately, I believe you have already shown how to earlier. Your speculations mean nothing, as I still insist I could not have gained access to your room. What should I do now? Should I raise an objection? You claim to have had no way to open my door. However, is that really the honest truth? Alright, I'll humor you. Go ahead, shoot. Very well. And I propose that you used this to open my door. Do they want me to say the key? Or do they want me to say Maggie? I guess I could say the key.
Take that!
There we go. I believe you were able to open my office door with the master key, no less.
Objection!
You can click on their names, although it can be weird in OBS. Usually why I leave the browser chat up to make it easier. Yeah, like, I can mouse over people's names, but, like, I can't really, like, do anything in OBS, so probably that's what it is. Wait, hold on a sec. I never laid a finger on that key, as you well know, already know. Precisely. You were able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did, but only to direct. That's right. You used your finger to direct this person to open my door with that key.
Take that!
You had asked Miss Bird to open your own office door for you, yes? Yeah, I kind of forgot my key at home.
Happens a bit too often for my taste, you know?
But the room you had Miss Bird open at the time was not your own, was it?
What?
Quite the imagination. But why don't we ask the girl herself whose door she opened, shall we?
I'm certain that it was Mr. Portsman's door, sir. I checked the number plate to make sure it was opening the right door, sir.
See, Miss Bird backs up my story.
Yet, what if you had misled her to fool her into thinking what you wanted?
How do you suppose I did that?
By switching the number plates on the doors, for example.
That's right. They do slide out pretty easily.
Furthermore, you then used one other thing to give a very strong impression. That the door she was opening for you, yours and not, in fact, that the door she was opening was yours and not, in fact, mine.
Katie, pay attention to punctuation. It helps you when you're cold reading sentences.
What was it that Mr. Portsmouth used to make Miss Bird think that it was his room? It was a basketball net.
Katie only does run-on sentences.
What? The basketball hoop, sir.
It's quite a peculiar fixture in the hallway, let alone a hallway in this building, which is why it was left an unusually strong impression on you. It's an object perfectly suited to sit just outside the office of a peculiar prosecutor.
That's very true, sir, because there was a basketball hoop sitting there. I thought the door was opening had to be Mr. Portsman's.
There are signs the hoop has been moved. To sit in front of my office, to be sure.
I see. So that's how you throw suspicion on people. Thanks for the tip. But I think your conjecture's a little off the racetrack.
Dun dun dun, conjectures, rebuttal.
Now you just spouted nonsense. I had the girl open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me.
So he intends to claim that his innocence to the end, does he?
I'm as pure and innocent as my jacket. And Miss Bird is as dirty and guilty as the jacket she wears. Hey, now.
My jacket's not dirty, I'll have you know. I just watched it yesterday.
It doesn't randomly have feathers taped to it, but it's fine.
Please calm down, for I intend to show who is the one truly covered in slime here. Ooh, do-do-do-do-do.
I like the slash noise because Edgeworth's thing's supposed to be like a sword. Now you're spouting nonsense. The girl opened my office. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. Pressing.
And what were you doing in your office?
I was doing my usual training regimen.
Training regimen? Are you going through your law books from start to finish?
Mainly batting practice, some weights. Oh, and I jog when I get the chance. Wow, you must be the buffest prosecutor we have.
With the weakest legal muscles, that would seem.
I was doing my usual workout, so. A single reason to suspect me.
Hold it!
I think I've given you quite a few reasons, actually.
Objection!
But none of those would stand up on their own.
Objection!
Then what about all the evidence?
Objection!
Oh, this is a lot of objections. Oh, the bots are coming in, eh?
I see you tried to block text case. It didn't seem to work at Bubbles, unfortunately.
It's all circumstantial. No judge would convict on such a flimsy evidence. Seems to be trembling a little. One more little push. All I have to do is find the flaw in his testimony. Let the girl open my office. Using the master key, of course. Sure. You have a problem with that? That is what the master key is for, right? Perhaps we should place it in an elaborate labyrinth. That is interesting to say together. An elaborate labyrinth of some sort for people like you.
Okay, so I assume that this is the thing, and that we're supposed to present, I assume this is what they want here. Yeah, okay.
I had your door dusted for prints. My door? Huh, what for? Come on, I bet you didn't find anything. You sure are good at wasting time. You're right. I didn't find anything. And definitely not Miss Bird's fingerprints. Prints? What do they have to do with anything? Let's put it this way. If she really was the one who opened your door, then her prints should naturally be on the doorknob she touched. Further, all the prints on my office doorknob have been wiped clean off. I can only assume it's because Miss Bird's fingerprints were on it. But it doesn't change the fact that it was my room the entire time. Is that really a fact? Or is it fiction? Hey, would I lie to you? I have here proof that you were not in your room the entire time as you claim. You're not here. This is a note that the victim left for you, Mr. Portsman. Music's going. A note? It was left under your door. Or did you not notice? And right here it says, but you're out. You were not in your room when the victim came to call on you. So then, where were you and what were you doing? Don't you think it's time you gave up your charade? We know you stole into my office with the intent of stealing something from me. And Detective Faith found you out. Possibly because he'd heard sounds coming from a room whose occupant was on leave. Mr. Portsman, you killed Mr. Faith to silence him. And I had the misfortune to return when I did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. As I said, when you had the gun to my back, no one gets away with committing murder in my office. Just what's so funny, pal? Well, look, that look of stiff seriousness on the face of this office's finest prosecutor. As he makes a huge mistake of accusing me, it is simply too much to bear. There's just nothing else like it in the world. What? Mr. Edgeworth just explained it all, and he even backed it up. You're the murderer. Stop trying to be slippery and just admit to the crime already. As I said earlier, it's all so circumstantial, so full of conjecture. You say you checked my doorknob for prints? Well, I can readily confess that I wiped that knob down as well. I'm a little obsessive-compulsive, you see. I didn't want to touch the doorknob that you had touched. Which is why I wiped down the knob as soon as I could after you opened the door. After that, it makes perfect sense that only Jim's and my own prints would be on there. You made that up just now, didn't you?
It's circumstantial and full of conjecture. Since when has that stopped anything? I know, that's like the entire premise of these games. Furthermore, as for the note Jim left for me, do you know exactly where that was? For all we know, he could have left it there before I arrived at the office. Like, early evening, for example.
Are you saying you failed to notice a note in your doorway?
Hey, even geniuses fail at times. I was probably too preoccupied by work-related matters. Although, that's no excuse.
Now that's just a flat-out lie. There was no way you didn't notice a note that size.
Yeah, but you can't prove that, can you?
Say something, Mr. Edgeworth. Back me up here, sir.
Portsman makes a good point. I can't prove that he didn't simply overlook it. Besides, I have an airtight alibi. Airtight, you say? I only just realized I had one as we were talking. I guess it would have been better for all of us if I had just told you sooner. Oh, he has an alibi, does he? Portsman's alibi. If memory serves, you came back to this office at around 2 a.m., correct? And it was then that you had the unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around. I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's the perfect alibi.
Do you really think it's perfect?
Like I said, I don't care. Ask around all you like. You'll see for yourself.
Detective Gumshoe.
Yes, sir! Sir, yes, sir! I'll go check on his alibi, sir! Be right back! Mr. Edgeworth, sir! I think we're in trouble. It's just like Mr. Portsmouth said. Guys down at Criminal Affairs said they saw him around 2 a.m.
You see? All of the evidence points to him being the culprit. So there must be a contradictory point in his alibi somewhere. Do, 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 do. We must find the contradiction.
Hold it!
You are correct. It was around 2.
Are you sure? It's really important to me that you're spot on with the time.
I remember checking my watch then, and make no mistake, it was 2.
Oh, give him testimony like a pro. Okay, so you came back to your office at 2. And it was then that you had the unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit.
Hold it!
It is as you say, however.
Yes, however, you are the only one who claims to have bumped into the culprit. So tell me, did you see the person's face? Was it me who you saw?
It was pitch black, so I couldn't actually see.
Objection!
Oh, come on now. I'm sure you saw something. Try a little harder now, why don't you?
I'm beginning to feel like I'm the one being interrogated here.
Oh, well, doesn't matter if you remember or not. It only matters if you ran into the culprit. But at exactly that time, it was down in criminal affairs.
Hold it!
So, you paid the criminal affairs department a visit.
Yep, right after I left the prosecutor's building, I headed straight to for the precinct. Ask around, I'm sure the other detectives will collaborate my story.
Hold it!
Well, we did go and ask around to confirm your story, testimony. And it was just as I said, right? Yes, sir. Remember, detectives said that they saw you around that time. See? I have the perfect alibi. That's the ace I had up my sleeve.
Possible. He actually does have the perfect alibi.
What's wrong? Why the sudden sullen look on your face? Can't you say something back, Mr. Edgeworth? I think we've reached the end of the line, and it's time to get off this crazy train. You there! Sir, please escort the young lady out, but remember to be gentle. Mickey!
Detective Gumshoe!
Is there nothing I can do? There must be a way to turn this situation around. If only I had a clue. Did I miss something that can help me cast doubt on his alibi? I need to calmly think this through one more time, and with logic.
A turnabout! But that's a Phoenix thing. I know, right?
The culprit rearranged my files twice, once before and once after the murder. The intruder I met could not have been Portsmouth. Then who could have been? There was another victim's gun found. Could there have been another gun at play?
Do they want me to combine this with a handgun so I could tell that that was a different person? Nope. There's only 3 combinations. Is this the one they want?
There were 2 bullets left at the scene of the crime. One that robbed Mr. Faith of his life, and one that nearly robbed me of my jacket.
Might as well use logic. You know, logic is a rare trait when it becomes a game of mechanic instead of the norm. It's true.
However, the murder weapon only shows signs of being fired once, meaning that it's entirely possible that a second gun was used in my office tonight. But seeing as how the killer had to steal Mr. Faith's gun, I doubt the killer had another gun up their sleeve. Therefore, the second gun could have been the property of an entirely different person, which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office tonight. Dun, 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 dun. Supposing there was yet another visitor tonight, that would also resolve the issue of why my shelves were upended twice. We know that the shelves were disturbed once before, and once after the murder. So, it shouldn't be much of a stretch to think that it was the work of 2 different people. Once by the person who stole the victim's gun, and then killed him with it. And once again after the murder by our second culprit. Who was the owner of the second gun? If we suppose that the second culprit's gun was the one that pointed at my back.
Objection!
Mr. Portsman, it seems I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case.
Great, so you come to your senses.
Mr. Edgeworth!
Sir, what are you saying?
This has been a misunderstanding on my part from the start. I had assumed that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case. What do you mean? The person I ran into was just your average thief.
Thief? But, sir, doesn't that cause some sort of contradiction in the facts?
Not at all. It simply means that the killer was someone else. And it means that, in actuality, 2 culprits stole into my office tonight.
What do you mean, 2?
It explains both why my shelves were disturbed twice, and how there were 2 guns. Mr. Portsman tricked Miss Bird and gained entry into my office.
Objection!
Now you're just leading the argument. You still don't have any actual proof, you know.
If you could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Ugh. Now then, returning to my scenario. Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me, which is why he checked my secret safe and ransacked my shelves. This is the first time.
So then, this would be where the files were put back in the wrong order, right?
Correct. And then, just when he was about to look somewhere else, who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith?
But why did Mr. Faith come into your room, sir?
He probably had some business with Mr. Portsman, which is why he was in the area. But that's when he noticed sounds coming from my office, would be my guess.
Oh, because you were supposed to be away, right?
And he must have thought it was odd, so he came into the office to check it out.
Correct. And as a detective, that was the right thing to do. But when he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Portsman, Mr. Faith probably let his guard down. But Mr. Portsman was not so merciful as to let him leave alive. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Faith's gun from him, and then he killed him. He silenced Mr. Faith for catching him in the act of stealing.
Is your metal made of chocolate, sir?
This was the moment in which the first shot was fired, the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he also left the fake dying message behind.
You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that?
Well, if things were simple as that, then all would be solved. However, there was yet another visitor to my room, and this is where it gets complicated.
There was another visitor, sir?
Yes, and this other person's objective was also to steal something from me. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door to my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so they stole the master key from the security guard's room, and then entered my room, searched through my shelves. This was the second time they were disturbed, and it seems the thief found their prize.
The stolen O file, right, sir?
Correct. Only, just as the thief was about to leave with the file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. The second bullet was fired during that brief encounter.
So the shelves again messed up twice, and the two bullets. It was all because two different people were doing those things at two different times.
Precisely. So now you see, Mr. Portsman, the person I met was just a thief, and was not, in fact, Mr. Faith's killer. Your alibi for the time frame in which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant, because we now know the murder took place during the first culprit's visit.
What's so funny, pal? Absolutely splendid. Your scenario explains everything. Of course it does. Mr. Edgeworth, after all. But you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. Supposing if, and it's a big if, your theory's right. It would indeed render my alibi, which has withstood scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. But there's still one defining point of your argument for which you have no evidence. Your supposition that I was the first visitor. I would like to point out that there's literally no evidence proving that Maggie did it, but okay. Mr. Edgeworth, you can't let him get away with that, sir.
But he has a point. I have absolutely no proof at this point.
Don't say that, sir.
I'll believe this. Don't worry, Maggie. I'll do something if I must. You know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Mr. Edgeworth. If the person you met really was just a plain old thief, then why is that person not your main suspect? That is, if your theory's correct.
Portsman Alibi Part 2.
That thief you ran into should be your real suspect, wouldn't you say? We should be out looking for that thief right now. They might still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at criminal affairs. So I can't be expected to know what happened around here after I left.
So you think we should be out looking for the thief?
Of course. Now isn't the time to be having these dead-end discussions.
I don't think it's at all dead-ended. I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? I know he's lying. I know he was here, at the scene of the crime. Just have to find a way to prove it. Find a way to prove it! Gotta find a secret.
Hold it!
Actually, no, I wouldn't.
Why not?
That's elementary. The dying message, of course. Mr. Faith's killer very clearly left those letters on the spines of those files. And it was after they were on there that the thief stole one of them.
You mean the files, right?
And that's how we know that the letters themselves were set up and not from Mr. Faith. If the thief was the killer, do you think that they would try to undermine themselves?
I mean, that's a good point. Maybe the killer just didn't think of that either. Yes, that must be it. Maybe, just maybe.
Hold it!
Once escaped, I highly doubt the thief would linger nearby.
Well, you never know. Maybe they didn't get what they were after.
Oh, you talk like you know quite a bit about this thief.
It's nothing like that. I have no idea about anything, after all. I hate to repeat myself, but I've already said I was training in my room.
Hold it!
But according to Mr. Faith's note...
Hold on, I thought we already cleared that up. Didn't we say that Jim left that note for me in the early evening? If you have proof that he left it at a different time, say just before he was murdered.
I don't have any no.
You see, so is this again that it was in my office the entire time. Jim came to deliver some evidence to me. I was down at criminal affairs.
Hold it!
Why didn't you go there with Mr. Faith?
Yeah, that's because he said he was tired. He was gonna take a quick nap. You know, those sofas in the hallway? He likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits.
What of the evidence he brought?
They were in the things related to yesterday's case. Just 2 items, a gun and a pendant.
Only 2? Interesting. This piece of testimony seems too crucial to let slip through the cracks. You goofed, Portsman! I have a note! It says there was 3!
Bitch!
Only 2 pieces. Edgeworth would never say that. You could have slid by using the forbidden technique of saying everything was bullshit, but then you lied.
Yeah, you'd think they would learn by now. They always do this, though. Only 2 pieces. I believe the proper phrase here is, you fail. Excuse me. You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Portsman, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from me. What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you. Well, here's a piece I think you should read. Carefully.
Ah! It says that Mr. Faith was bringing 3 pieces.
Yes. And this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Portsman. I can't believe to get tripped up by a simple arithmetic. Where is the missing piece of evidence? It's... You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. Detective Gumshoe! You don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from head to toe. Don't come any closer, I'm warning you. It's all part of the investigation, pal. So don't even think about stopping me. Pal with all caps. No! Hey, what's this? He had this on him, sir. Despite what you said, it would appear that you do have something to hide. Why would he be hiding something like that? There's only one reason why anyone would want to hide evidence of this caliber. Because it would unequivocally point to that person himself as the real killer. Let's examine this videotape in a little more detail. For the section of the tape that will... Oh no, we're watching a videotape, guys! We're doomed! For the section of tape that will drive the last nail into the coffin, his coffin. Oh look, there's blood! It is also the KG8 incident. KG8 incident. That's a police case number, sir. Does that mean that this video is evidence from that case? Interesting. However, what's recorded on this isn't what's important right now. Let's give the casing a thorough once-over. Okay, I can't blame you for that visceral knee-jerk reaction. Fortunately, they wouldn't do that for the first case. Ah, that's blood, isn't it? Yes. And I believe that this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. This blood is still fresh. You mean this might be Detective Faith's blood? No, you've got it all wrong. No amount of denial can save you. We have but to run a blood test to find the truth. You told us that you had received evidence from the victim earlier. Now you will tell us when and how did the victim's blood find its way onto this video.
Yeah, it's totally suspicious.
Was it at the moment of his death? Did Detective Faith have this videotape on his personage when you killed him? You know very well there's no way to prove that. Not even if we were to examine this tape for fingerprints. If I had to take a guess, I'd say that the only ones on here would belong to the murderous you and Mr. Faith. No! Impossible! Impossible! Or is this supposed to be EA? Yay! It's basically no in Japanese, I believe. Mr. Portsman's been placed under arrest for the murder of Detective Buddy Faith, sir. Very good. results got back from the lab techs on the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. Blood work came back, and it was definitely Mr. Faith's blood on there. And the bonus, we were also able to lift a few of Mr. Faith's fingerprints as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside the courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir.
It was nothing. I'm just sorry that you got caught up in the murder in my office. Please accept my apologies.
Aw, it was nothing. Really, compared to what I've been through, I mean. I consider myself lucky that it was only a burglary and a murder this time, sir.
Oh, Maggie.
If it had been a holdup or a hostage situation, I'd have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I'm finally rising up from the goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person.
Something tells me that we should have hired a different person for security detail. So who is cleaning Miss Edgeworth's office and why is it Gumshoe? Yeah, really.
You know something, sir? I think that Mr. Portsmouth really was one of the corrupt prosecutors.
And why would you say he was corrupt?
Well, I heard that there was a number of suspicious things related to his court cases. There's even rumors about how some of the evidence he used was forged, sir.
Forged evidence, huh?
They say he even decided not to prosecute a few cases for some really vague reasons.
Oh, that guy's a complete disgrace to the entire profession.
We never did get around to asking what his reason was for breaking into my office.
Yeah, whenever we got near that topic, he just clammed up.
Although, we can be pretty certain that it was to steal something.
Just between you and me, sir, but there's a rumor that some sort of huge organization's involved behind the scenes.
Ew. Well, well. With Mr. Portsman not willing to divulge anything, it certainly lends credence to that rumor. It would seem that we haven't heard the last of this.
Huh? Then Mr. Portsman isn't the bad guy?
I didn't say that, but rather there are still many more mysteries for us to solve.
Tutorial Investigations has plot hooks for later. That's crazy. I know, right?
For example, we still haven't figured out the significance of this piece of evidence. I assume they are talking about this.
Take that!
The person who stole this file, the other villain of the night. What are the odds?
Yeah, wonder who it was.
And what happened to the stolen pages? I wonder, who in the world was it that held me at gunpoint?
Mr. Edgeworth, sir!
Yes.
I came across this while I was processing your office earlier, sir.
This card. What is it, sir?
Sorry, that's Gumshoe. Gumshoe just becomes a really posh all of a sudden. What is it, sir? Is that a bird or something on there?
It's not just any bird. It is the mark of the raven, a 3-legged raven. Even you should know what this is, detective.
Oh, it's about that thing, isn't it? That great thief everyone's talking about.
Yes, it is the mark of the great thief Yatagarasu. Under the mark of the legendary bird, the Yatagarasu is noble to the end, a modern Robin Hood. Labeled mysterious and phantom-like,
oh, he was a phantom thief!
The Yatagarasu appears and vanishes at will.
Yatagarasu haunts embassy! The noble Yatagarasu, vigilante of the business world, reappears!
Though we don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. The Yatagarasu likes to find and make likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. The theft is always performed in silence, and always with perfection. Once a target is chosen, no dramatic calling card or announcement is sent forth. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without even the target noticing. Yeah, because if you want to steal something, you don't tell people that you're stealing it. Edgeworth, it is said that they never see it coming. They'll never see it coming. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media, along with a single card. Although, it has been a while since the Yatagarasu's last appearance.
Hey, Mr. Edgeworth. Look, something's written on the back.
What? Let me see.
It's the location of where the thief put the stolen files.
So the person who stole the contents of the file was the Yatagarasu? Yatagarasu. Organization. Quite a few key words are popping up in this mystery. I shall add them to my memory palace. The murder in my office. The return of the great thief, Yatagarasu. Looking back, I can't say I didn't see these events coming, for they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago. Bum bum bum. The end.
Hey, we finished case 1!
Turnabout Airlines. Oh man, does that mean that she doesn't show up till the third case? I think Ninja Maya doesn't show up till the third case then. Chapter 2. It has been 3 months and the bloodstain's still there. Let's see. Well, we can at least start it and get the intro going. Oh god, I saw Francisco was on the cover. Oh god, I'm gonna have to figure that out. Okay. The murder that occurred in my office. The return of the great thief Yatagarasu. Thinking back, everything began on that fateful day 2 days ago. Better you than me. I mean, it will be you soon. Go you airlines! Yes, everything happened on that flight. Whatever it said.
Thank you for flying Go You Airlines. We are currently experiencing some slight turbulence. We are asking all passengers to please return to their seats and fasten their seatbelts.
March 12th, 6:13 a.m. Flight G390, first floor lounge. A lot of things are going on the screen right now. Why do I feel like I just woke up from a horrible nightmare? flight? 6:13, huh? Guess I was out cold for about 10 minutes. Huh. Slight turbulence indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently experiencing some slight turbulence. For your safety, we ask that you return to your seats and fasten your seatbelts.
I suppose turbulence is to be expected on a flight. Though admittedly, I'm less than comfortable with anything resembling earthquakes. Yeah, that's fair. You do have some trauma with that. Oh. What is this? A travel wallet. But it's not mine. How did someone else's travel wallet wind up in my pocket? My head. Why won't this headache go away? I'll take care of this travel wallet later, or hand it off to an attendant. It has blood on it! From the earthquake-like turbulence to an elevator. What am I doing, hesitating like this? Actually, I know full well why I hesitate. It was when I was still but a young child. I was caught up in a murder that happened in an elevator. But how long am I going to let my past haunt me? It's just an elevator. I'm a grown man now. I need to behave like one. No, Edgeworth. What the? What in the world happened?
Is there something wrong, sir? I must ask that you please return to your seat. He's dead!
Please calm down. We mustn't jump to conclusions without all the facts. What's wrong? What did happen? Did something happen?
You murderer!
What? No, you all have it wrong. It wasn't me. Oh no, Edgeworth is the Maya. How big is this plane that it has an elevator? That already happened though. Maya Edgeworth.
Everyone, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have an important announcement. I am one of your flight attendants today, Rhoda Tenerio.
Tenerio? Rhoda Tenerio. I feel like I should know what this pun is, but I don't.
Unfortunately, we have just had a minor accident on this flight.
An accident? Don't treat us like we're stupid. We caught a glimpse and it was murder.
What murder? What's going on with this flight? Everyone, please calm down. There is no reason to panic. The flight will stay on course and make its scheduled landing. We are still currently in the middle of a rough patch of turbulence. So, until we are all out of turbulence, I ask that you please remain seated.
But someone, has killed, right? I mean, what about the killer? Let me off.
Please, there is no need to feel threatened. We have already apprehended the culprit.
Look how big that law book is next to Edgeworth. Oh man, could you imagine the fandom salt if Maya and Edgeworth randomly became a canon couple? Like, that would make nobody happy. It would literally make no one happy. Like, I don't even think Edgeworth has any other valid couplings. Because, Francisca's more like a sister. And our ninja Maya is more of a daughter. I ask that everyone please remain calm.
What the heck is he talking about? Why should we remain calm?
My name is Miles Edgeworth. I am a prosecutor, and I assure you I am not the killer.
Being a prosecutor doesn't make you capable of murder, buddy.
Now you listen here. I am not the killer. I simply found the body.
So you say. However, I am sure that you are the perpetrator of this crime. I swear on my honor as a professional flight attendant.
Oh, is that right?
I know what I saw. And there is even very strong incriminating evidence to back me up.
What kind of incriminating evidence is she talking about?
We've already alerted the proper authorities at our destination. Until we land, you will remain in our custody by the powers vested in our captain. I am very sorry, but please understand our situation.
Your situation? I am more concerned with mine and the direction it's going. I am not about to just sit idly by while I get accused of murder. Okay, to be fair, Francesca is like little sister in a way where it could go either way in an anime context. Thanks God, at least they aren't related though. That's fair, I guess. China's test score. Best the wiki has is if you read her name, Tenerio Rhoda is like the narrow Rhoda. Okay, I suppose. It's interesting too, because on her head, she definitely has like a pagoda kind of thing going on her back of her, like her hair. Or it's at least some kind of like geometric shape building type of a thing. Okay. Miss Tenerio, is it?
Yes. I was wondering if you might give me a chance. A chance? To do what?
A chance to plead my case. A chance to ask what you mean by incriminating evidence just now. To accuse a passenger of such a grave crime without allowing him to give proper defense. Can the professional flight attendant inside of you really call this action righteous?
You have a point.
Very well. I'll listen to what you have to say. But be wary of what you reveal. I'm afraid you'll only look even more suspicious if your explanation fails to satisfy. I also do not have time to deal with you all day, so please, make it quick. Of course, as you wish. Good. Very well then. Let's get started. Her Japanese pun name is pretty bland too. Konomichi Ichiru, or Thin Silver This Road. Okay. I know for a fact I didn't kill the man in the elevator. What I don't know is what sort of evidence she has up her sleeve. But I'm certain it doesn't fit with how the crime really occurred. Boop, boop, boo. Time for Edgeworth to argue with no information because we have nothing in here. Oh, actually, that's not true. We do have things in here. I picked it up off the floor in front of the elevator. Whose is it? It isn't mine. Whose is it? The body found at 6:15 inside the elevator, stopped at the first floor lounge. Look at this room. Look at all these things in here. There's money, there's a card, there's more card, there's a statue with some blood on it, there's a carabiner around his neck. There's a paper in his pocket. At least the puns are similar. That's true. And details meal, movies, and other services inside. It's the itinerary. All times shown correspond to our departure time zone. Thank you for choosing Go Airlines. We wish you have a pleasant flight. If you require assistance at any time, please use the call button above your seat and a flight attendant will be with you shortly. Meals will be served at the times shown, but the complimentary drinks and snacks will be served all meal long or something. Okay. I'm sure this won't be relevant at all. We have a mysterious victim, and we have Rhoda Tenerio, who is 24.
I swear to tell the truth, to tell the whole truth as a professional flight attendant.
Unfortunately for you, Mr. Edgeworth, I am certain you are the killer. The scene I saw in the front of the elevator. It was you, standing there, with fresh blood dripping off the murder weapon. So, if you would please cooperate, we'll turn you over just as soon as we land.
No one looted the body. Meal at 2 a.m. Movies at 6 a.m. God damn it, Vince.
That's it? That's her evidence? I don't think you could ask for a more perfect witness testimony. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Edgeworth?
Not really.
It's hardly perfect when there's a gaping hole in it.
We're just jumping right into it. Like, there was no time between us starting and the whole thing. Well, this is what I actually had, lady, so...
Miss Tenario. What? What is it with all the yelling all of a sudden? Force of habit. Well, it doesn't matter. Miss Tenario, you say that you saw the murder weapon dripping with blood. Is that correct? Yes, all that blood. Drip, drip, drip. Just recalling that scene sends chills down my spine. Sorry, but your so-called professional flight attendant training has failed you. What? I'd like to direct your attention to this. Do you know what this is? It's a travel wallet, right? It looks a little big and bulky. The thing you saw me holding when I discovered the dead body in the elevator was this very travel wallet, Miss Tenario. What? Impossible. Now then, do you still think I'm the killer? That I killed him with a travel wallet? But I saw blood dripping from the wallet. I know I did. As you can see, this wallet is clearly stained. But if you would be so kind as to take a whiff, I think you'll agree it's only grape juice. Then... That's right. You mistook grape juice for blood.
Grape juice. Really? That feels like a translation thing where they're like, we don't want to put wine in here, so we're going to say it's grape juice.
The murder weapon dripping with blood does not, in fact, exist. No! There, that should clear up that pesky accusation. Hold it! Wait just a second. That is... I mean, even a wallet could be deadly if it was wrapped around something heavy. I demand that you show me what's inside, please. She's trembling, and the tacked on please at the end, it sounds like I've got her. There's no need to look inside. Even you can tell from its appearance that it's light. No, I can't be sure of anything until I see the contents of that wallet myself. She's a persistent one, and I suppose I have no choice but to see what's inside. Mr. Tenario, if you would be so kind as to open the wallet and check its contents for me. All right. I usually don't pry into passengers' belongings, but we have no choice here.
This is why babies shouldn't claim to be professionals. Can't even tell juice from blood. Grape juice stain on the outer cover. It's true it was I who dropped the juice. However, I didn't do it out of ill intentions. Oh, there's a thing in it. I see it. Let me just open it. Okay, I probably gotta click this part.
It seems that there's a passport is all that's in here. As you saw, there's nothing but a passport inside. This renders your wallet was a murder weapon argument moot. Wouldn't you agree? Hold it! Please hear me out, Mr. Edgeworth. What is it now? Well, I was wondering, whose passport is it exactly? Can I take a look? Why not? I'm rather curious myself. This is Republic of Borginia passport. Type P. Surname Hicks. Given name Akbay hips. Republic of Borginia. Sex male. Signature there. All the things on there.
Just as I thought. This travel wallet belonged to Mr. Akby Hicks, which makes the victim's property. You stole the victim's wallet, didn't you? How dare you? You said it yourself. You claimed to be holding this wallet in your hands when I found you. Perhaps I did misconstrue the wallet for the murder weapon, but it seems I wasn't wrong about who the culprit is.
Damn, his signature looks like nothing like his name. Like, do you see Edgeworth's clothing?
As you claim, the murder weapon is not the travel wallet. However, it is something you stole from Mr. Hicks. After you were done with the vile deed, I find it hard to believe myself. But your motive was very simple. You were out to steal Mr. Hicks' money, weren't you?
So even though I didn't have the murder weapon on me, you still suspect me, I see.
You stood up to the crime scene with the victim's wallet in your hand. How could I turn a blind eye and not suspect you of foul play?
Okay, but all the money's at the crime scene, lady. You were out to steal the money, weren't you? No, I really wasn't.
Objection!
I wonder if I might get a word in, Miss Tenario.
What is it now?
Miss Tenario,
I wonder if you notice the contradiction within your own testimony. What are you talking about?
it is simply impossible that the motive for this murder was monetary theft. One glance at the crime scene should have told you that. What about the scene proves them? Oh, come on. Really? We gotta do this even? Okay, fine. There is money at the crime scene. If I may direct your attention to the things strewn about over the floor. Ah! That's right. The floor is covered in bills and coinage. By your rationale, these were the very things the killer was after. Ah! I think we can assume that the wallet fell during the victim's struggle with his killer. And I would think that the killer would have noticed something like money scattering everywhere. Furthermore, as you can see, there was no effort made by the killer to gather the money.
But, the wallet!
Objection!
Ah, yes, the wallet. You will also recall that the only thing in it was Mr. Hicks' passport.
If you're really insisting that it was a crime based on greed, then you're claiming that it was all for an empty travel wallet. Forgive me! Please!
Hey, what the heck? Are you saying that the attendant's wrong? So that guy isn't the killer? Ha! Don't believe it, everyone. It's a trick. Will you all please be quiet? Miss Tenario.
Yes.
You lost your cool when you saw the dead body. Plus the lounge was dark and looking into the light from the elevator. It's easy to see how you mistook the wallet in my hand for the murder weapon. I take no offense to that you thought that I was the killer. Mr. Edgeworth, thank you for releasing me. Symbols! What is it now? Simple, 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 simple! Miss Tenario, if you could please translate, I'd be much obliged.
It sounds like Borginian, but I don't understand any of it. There's another attendant on this flight who...
I said that he's given the runabout.
Do
don't require an interpreter. I speak English just well. See? You, the attendant.
Yes, sir.
I want this person under arrest until we arrive at the airport.
I'm sorry, sir, but what exactly are you hoping for?
What do you want? I'm finished talking to the likes of you.
Please, I would like to hear what you would like me to be held under arrest until we... Why you would like me to be held under arrest until we land.
How dare you? You're trying to waste my time.
You're the one who stuck your nose into my affairs.
Want to spend at least one more second with my precious art. I've no time for other things. I know what you are. I see through you. Insolvent.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's how you say it in English. Well, I suppose... I should hope not. I'm not monetarily bankrupt, but I don't think that's what you meant. No, that's Gumshoe. I'm sorry, but I don't think I caught your name.
I am Zinc LeBlanc II. I am a very wealthy man in Borginia. But I am not an ordinary rich man. I am an art dealer. Rich seller of beauty.
Mr. LeBlanc, what did you mean just now?
Pardon.
When you said that Mr. Edgeworth was giving me the runabout.
I have to explain? Unbelievable! I will say it once and only once. I do not have every second, even a second to waste. Time is money, as they say.
Yes, and yet you continue to blather on.
I saw it, yes I did. I saw the victim go into the elevator. Going down to the lounge. It was exactly at 6 o'clock.
What does this poster say? License to love, laugh, maim, and murder. It's beautiful. So many chins. Sounds like a good airplane movie, yo.
And what's the significance of that time? At 6, he says. Wait, you saw him at 6? What's the matter, Mr. Edgeworth? He understands. I see.
Miss Attendant, what time did you discover the body?
Well, it was a little after the patch of turbulence, so I would say around 6:15.
Hicks was his name, was it? Then I say that man, Hicks, was killed at 15-minute time span. The only person in the lounge at that time was this prosecutor, yes?
Yeah, I was in my seat the whole time. Me too. I was watching the movie and enjoying a fine glass of grape juice. It's wine! Why is everyone saying it's grape juice?
I was still eating. I still haven't finished, see?
What is that thing is huge. This plane is a mess.
And the passengers have an alibi, so you have no problem with them, I suppose. No complaint, I see. Not a single word against them, right? Right?
I have no way of discounting what you have put forth at this point, but it wasn't me.
Oh, you say? But do you have what you say, the evidence?
Mr. Edgeworth, are you really the culprit after all? Mr. LeBlanc, I suppose you are quite certain in what you say, enough to give testimony.
Of course, I was looking at the man the whole time. I was playing with the annoying little, small machine the whole time.
Machine?
Yes, that's what you people call it in English, yes. It was making me crazy with the click, 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 click.
In the description, it sounds like some sort of small computer.
Sir, have you had many glasses of wine? After a few, it becomes just grape juice, yo. fair, if you legit drank that many bottles of wine, we'd have another dead person on board. That's also true. And I'll be honest, I've maybe had one glass of wine in the entirety of my life. Did not like it, and I wouldn't say I had a whole glass. It was more like a few sips, but...
From the description, it sounds like some sort of small computer. I believe what Mr. LeBlanc is talking about is a cell phone. I have to say that I did see him playing with it quite a bit myself. A simple cell phone. A laptop or organizer, I can see, but what kind of low budget?
I hate that noisy little machine in his hand. Not a fragment of beauty. All it produces is ugly sounds. Anyway, I know what I saw.
Mr. Nerio. Yes. I was wondering if I might be granted permission to examine the crime scene. What? You want to examine the crime scene? If you would grant me a little measure of time, I'm sure I can produce the real culprit.
I don't like the sound of that fox in the duck pen. Yes, I think that's how it's said in English.
It's fox guarding the hen house, and I believe my innocence was proven earlier. And if I'm given a chance, I can clear up all the remaining doubts. Mr. Nerio, if you wait until we arrive, there is a good chance that some evidence will have been destroyed by then. I understand. Let me see what the captain has to say.
Ha! This should not be approved.
Please, Mr. LeBlanc, in an emergency, all decisions are to be made by the captain alone. Now, please wait here while I go and ask the captain what to do.
Also, dude, you have a vase strapped in your seat. So where do you sit?
I'll be right back.
You are not planning to erase evidence when you are doing this your investigation, yes?
Of course not.
Ha, we'll see.
Mr. Edgeworth, you have the captain's permission to investigate the crime scene.
What unbelievable!
I am in your debt, Mr. Nerio. However, there is one condition. I am to supervise you. Can you agree to that? Of course. I see no problem with that stipulation. It is only natural as I am still a suspect in this case. I take full responsibility and will watch Mr. Edgeworth's every move. I hope that this is reassurance enough that there will be no foul play. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, shall we proceed? If you should need my help with anything, please feel free to use X to talk. It is time to head to the crime scene, the first floor lounge.
Flight attendant Maya. She's not accused of murder, but she is now the temporary assistant. Flight attendant Maya. Look, sometimes the main person is on trial and you have to just have an assistant for it. Okay. I think we're going to stop right here. We're right at the start of the investigation, so I think this is the best time to do so. But everything's fine. Nothing terrible is happening. We're not accused of murder. But we finished the first case, and we're gonna dive into this next time. Thanks for joining me, everyone. I must go rest my throat now. Good night.